Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for February 7th. February 7th is the 38th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 327 days remaining to the end of the year, 328 in leap years. Today's word is cousin. This one, as you might notice, is spelled C-O-Z-E-N. It's a completely different word from the kind of cousin that is your relative, whether that relative is the child of your aunt or uncle, or a relative descended from an ancestor, or anything like that. That kind of cousin is spelled C-O-U-S-I-N, which is a word with an interesting history itself, and I can put it on the list to talk about next week. Today's word, though, cousin, is a verb that means to deceive, win over, or induce, to do something by artful coaxing or wheedling or shrewd trickery, to cheat or defraud. It can also mean to gain by cousining someone. Synonyms might include bamboozle, beguile, deceive, or dupe, just to list a few. Example sentences might include, he cousined several elderly ladies into believing that he intended to marry them, or the novel tells of a charismatic thief who cousins his way into the homes of the wealthy only to rob them, or the politician's attempt to cousin the public with false promises backfired when the truth came to light. While the word cousin may possibly have taken a side trip through French, we're pretty sure it comes from an old Italian word, Latin before that, words that had to do with horse trading, horse trader or horse dealer. First known use of the word cousin is in the 1570s, cousin. Today's word, cousin, was suggested by YouTube viewer at GingerRush7536. Thanks, Ginger. And remember, if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, we're going to jump right into the 1900s with the birthday of country pop, and country rock singer Garth Brooks, born February 7th, 1961. He was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the youngest of 6 children, and his family moved to Yukon when he was still a baby. He was active in school sports growing up, got a partial track scholarship to Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Garth had been greatly influenced by the music of James Taylor and Dan Fogelberg early on, and he did some performing whenever he could. He learned to play whatever the audience wanted to hear while he was in Stillwater. In fact, I know several folks who attended OSU back then, and one of them told me that Garth came to their dorm when they had coffee house nights and sang James Taylor songs. She said he had long hair and a beard, and that he was also a bouncer at a club in Stillwater, and that when coffee house night would come around, everyone would say, "Is that James Taylor guy coming?" And when he did, the place was packed. He was popular right out of the box. He graduated in 1984, and I think it's significant to note that his degree was in advertising. He moved to Nashville, released his first album, Garth Brooks, which went to number 2 on the Billboard Top Country Albums chart and number 13 on the Billboard 200 chart. Garth Brooks has released 16 studio albums, 2 live albums, and 51 singles. He sold an estimated over 170 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling music artists in history. In fact, the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA, has Garth Brooks as one of the top-selling solo artists of all time. Garth Brooks turned 62 in 2024. Happy birthday, Garth Brooks. In a real-life episode worthy of the TV show Forensic Files, forensic evidence helped solve a crime of a brutal murder on February 7th, 1968. The victim had been preparing a meal which was still in the works in the kitchen, and her husband came home and found her. There was no evidence of forced entry, which led investigators to believe that this must have been someone she knew, friends or family. So that's what they focused on. It didn't take them long to hone in on the suspect. They found blood evidence in the suspect's vehicle along with some fibers. The blood evidence matched the blood type of the victim, but this was way before DNA days, so blood types were a bit more general than DNA matches. They still needed a bit more proof. Well, it happens that the victim had been wearing a red wool dress. The investigators were able to examine the clothing of the suspect, and even though he'd laundered his garments, they were able to find red fibers that matched her dress. Fibers in the car also matched. The murderer was caught, tried, and convicted by the end of May. Now, if you're wondering what I might have talked about in a previous episode for February 7th, I'll leave a link for you, and just in case you'd like to check that out. Today's song is The Dance by Garth Brooks. Beautifully written by songwriter Tony Arata and performed in Garth Brooks' rich, emotive style, The Dance was released in April of 1990 and reached number 1 on the Hot Country chart. The music video for this song really helped expose him to an audience beyond country music fans and expanded his reach. Garth Brooks does have quite a voice on him, and when asked which of his songs is his favorite, it's The Dance. The Dance by Garth Brooks, link in the description, and have your tissues handy because you might shed a tear or two. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, check out the playlist that contains these videos, and I'll put a link to that in the description. The description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again and all. See you next time. This is the birthday.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you. John, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We got to make that be quiet. You got to read the black part. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for, where's your microphone? Okay, we don't want to say the same thing twice. Oh, get your microphone. What is it with you and this microphone? Okay, here we go. Okay, we are still recording. That's great. Okay. How about that? We'll have a lot to edit today. Cacophony is a sound. Cacophony is a noun that you got to read it the right way. Let's start over. It's 8 o'clock, so all of the reminders are going to be dinging. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, stop it. It's 8 o'clock. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.